The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Event Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.
523, Mark and Paul checking in. Raining out there right now, 46 degrees. Not the greatest day to be traveling across the state of Montana. I got some company coming in from Spokane. Buddy lost an uncle back in January, and they wanted to wait till the roads were better to get together for the celebration of life. And today might not be that day.
God.
McDonald passed chains required on towing units.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God, they're going to have to clear the snow to dig a hole to put him in. Yeah, it's going to happen.
No, ours is just rain and just starting, and I think over an inch.
40-mile-an-hour winds. That's going to be a problem.
Just played Charlie Rich. Paul and I were talking about him. Not really a favorite of either of ours. And for what he accomplished in music, what he's most famous for is being one of the presenters at the 1975 CMAs when they announced John Denver as Entertainer of the Year and Charlie Rich lit the card on fire.
Did he?
Couple of cocktails.
Oh,
not the guy you voted for.
A couple cocktails, probably more than the guy you didn't vote for.
Mostly the cocktails.
Right. Well, they call him the Silver Fox or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story a couple days ago about that flight to Singapore. 30 people hurt and 1 man died. He died from a heart attack. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about this through the years. If you're on a flight like that and you have a traumatic episode, do you get on the next plane to get home? Or do you just go rent a car at your local Hertz wherever you land? I think I'm driving a car.
A lot of us, though, have had close calls in cars, and we keep driving.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And what if you're in Singapore and you're trying to get to the United States? I mean,
no choice.
Yeah.
You got to fly.
Yeah, really no choice. I was telling Mark yesterday, I saw a map of this route that you can drive from Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, all the way down to the southern tip of South America. Stay on the one road the whole way, go through Alaska, Canada, the U.S., down through Mexico, hit South America, and it was 29,000 miles. That's a road trip. Mm-hmm. We're going to need to stop for gas, Wilson, a couple more times than just twice between here and Seattle. So that's a road. Heck, that's further around than the world. What's the world? 25,000 miles around. So,
jeez.
Yeah.
What an adventure, though.
Oh, can you imagine? Doesn't matter. I'd have been dead by Ketchikan because I wouldn't have been able to take Steely Dan
Stop it.
that long. Oh, my God.
It wouldn't be just Steely Dan.
Another Steely Dan song?
It would be yacht rock. It'd be all kinds of cool light rock.
Stop on this high bridge marked 1,500 feet above this canyon bottom, would you? God, again?
Well, now when it's your turn to drive, you can pick the music.
Oh,
That's how I do it.
oh, okay.
After we first sit through this 4 CD collection of Citizen Steely Dan,
Oh, my God.
here's some of the deeper tracks that didn't make it to the radio.
Oh, no. Mm-hmm. That's a road trip, though, 29,000. I think we did that once before on Weird Wednesday, what your longest road trip was. And, of course, truckers, they go coast to coast all the time, so they never stop. There's going to be some trucker folks today that came from a Walmart warehouse in Arkansas and is dropping off his stuff along the road and getting by Bozeman and West and going, what the hell is with this part of the country up here?
Oh, very true.
Snow, chains required, and it's May. Almost June. We've had snow every month of the year in Montana. I remember driving down Montana Avenue one time in July and it was snowing like crazy. So it happens.
Looking for something here that I ran across this morning. Here it is. The Bozeman Walmart is desperate for employees. Walmart will pay for your hotel and reimburse you for food up to $40 a day. You will be paid mileage from the Laurel store to the Bozeman store and back every 2 weeks. $16 an hour, 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. with Mondays and Tuesdays off with the possibility of overtime. Apply today at walmart.com.
Wow.
Can't get workers in Bozeman.
What a great shift. 4 to 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody, obviously you and I don't mind getting up early and coming to work, but you're done early. You got the whole day to do the rest of it.
Done right after lunch.
I'd much rather have this shift than not go to work until 5 at night.
Hands down. No doubt. And night shifts, graveyards are awful. Mm-hmm. They're just awful. Well, I told you that place when I went up there last weekend. That place is nuts. It's crazy. It's growing faster than the town can handle it.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, yeah.
It just is, and it's so competitive. I mean, you could work for a company like Home Depot or Lowe's or something, driving trucks around delivering sheetrock and wood, and probably make a fortune.
Yeah.
There's so much construction and things going on, and plus the people that move there already have jobs.
That's right.
The people that are moving there have jobs. You just can't. You can't move into a place like Bozeman, Martha's Vineyard, stuff like that, and
Jackson Hole, Wyoming,
right, and not have a job or have already made your money.
True.
You just can't. When the median home price is $1 million and rent is $2,000 a month, you cannot just pick a spot on the map like Frank did when they came from New York and just throw a dart and have it land in Montana. Come out here.
Didn't want to raise their kids in New York, so they threw a dart at a map and said Billings, Montana.
There you go. I mean, you can't do that in Bozeman.
No.
And their Walmart's probably a little different than our Walmart up there as far as clientele. Remember, folks, yoga pants don't lie. But man, you take the wage, the stipend, the living quarters help, all that kind of stuff. I mean, Jiminy. They would have to, because starting at $16 an hour? Mm-hmm. Starting at 16, you're not going to be able to find a place to live up there.
Well, they put you in a hotel.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They would have to do that. Mm-hmm. Would have to do it.
Well, and you don't have to quit working at 8 hours. Mm-hmm. You can get a second job. You can work overtime.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity, because all over Bozeman they need help too.
Yeah. I don't know what Walmart pays for overtime, but it's at least time and a half, maybe even double.
Yeah.
For Walmart. That's where you start raking it in.
Oh yeah.
Man, I'd have 40 hours after the first 3 days, and then the rest of the week is gravy. That'd be awesome. Depending on what you do. And, 4 a.m. to 1, they don't even open. They're not even open that time of the morning, so you don't have to,
Yes, Paul. You don't have to deal with the public much.
That's right. We have a gal and her husband used to go on a Flakes trip all the time. She worked on Walmart. I see her up there once in a while, unless she retired. I'm not sure. But
Linda retired.
Yeah, not Linda. Kathy,
yeah.
The other one. Oh, yeah, Linda retired. That place, nuts. Hell, Lewistown will get a Walmart before it's over.
Probably.
Yeah, and with all those new families that are going to come in, 800 new ones up there. And they're going to have the same problem Bozeman has, because they're not going to be able to handle that growth that quickly.
Right.
I wonder if Witchface has done a commercial yet for those people that are going to move into Lewistown and these other places and take these jobs at these companies that are moving out here. I wonder if Witchface is going to do a commercial on those folks too. We don't want you here. You have to have been here 100 years before you move here for a job and raise a family.
No, I think it's only if you're running for elected office.
Yeah,
that's the only reason you can't be born somewhere else.
That's true. I think you're right.
Yeah, not a large selection for apartments in Lewistown right now.
No, it's limited. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to have my place there, but
not with that attitude. You're not.
It's it's been.
If Paul had about 4 more hours in the day, he could save up a little bit and get his place in Lewistown.
Commute, but it's in agriculture and stuff. It's just it's been priced out of agricultural's hands now, and more into people who are protecting their money by putting money into assets rather than having a number in a book or on a spreadsheet. It's what the Wilkes brothers did. They made all that money when they sold their fracking business, and they took all their fracking money and spent it in Montana and bought land. And bought lots of it because when things go to hell, and they will eventually, whether you're prepared or not, that's your own thing. I'm not going to be everybody's dad, but those numbers will just disappear. Well, I have this number here on my monthly report that says, well, all that is just a number. It's just a number on a piece of paper. That's all it is, folks. It's a number. There's nothing backing it. And with the government spending money the way they're spending it, and everything's going to go to hell, that number will be gone. And then what do you do? But I had $200,000 in this account. Yeah, sorry, but it's gone. The bank went TU, and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation that is funded by the government and through insurance, and so they went TU. So sorry, but I've got this number here. Well, that's all you had was a number. What are you going to do? People don't think about it. It's going to happen. There's going to be a correction someday. You just can't spend and acquire debt, because those bills all come due. And it will happen someday. And it's going to be far worse than the Depression, just by sheer volume of people, for one. The difference in the population base between October 29th of 1929 and now is quite a bit different. You know, and it's funny because those guys during the Depression, the guys that made it during the Depression were the people that had cash. Mm-hmm. The banks all failed. And people had those numbers. They even had numbers back then. I still have my savings and loan book. I got it pinned up in the office that I had from like 1970 with my deposits from when I was working in there. I keep it in the office just to keep me grounded. But even back then, people had those numbers. They would go into the bank, and the bank would take your book. You had this book, and they'd take it in there, and you'd hand them the book when you made a deposit. And the woman in there would put the book in the typewriter, and she would type your number in there. They still had numbers. All those numbers were gone. Gone. The bank failed. So you go to the bank, get your money. Guess what? There was a run on the banks. Nobody had it. So you lost. It was just gone. Mm-hmm. It was a number. And now today more than ever, we're all numbers. Mm-hmm. We're just all numbers and spreadsheets, and it was gone. People don't even have the ability to feed themselves now. They couldn't if they had to. Heck, during the Depression out here, you couldn't find a deer anywhere. You had to go to the mountains if you wanted to even have a chance of finding one. And you know, they all came back without FWP. Isn't that something?
That is amazing. But
you never know. Times could get tough, and you better be set. Better be ready. I planted all my flowers yesterday. Got my flowers. I stopped in at I like that place up there by the old Kmart in the Heights. I stop in there, and nice couple runs it. In fact, the one gal's a nurse, Erica. She worked with Mallory for a while when she was here in town, and I've had really good luck with their flowers. So, and, you know, it's a little mom and pop place. I like helping them. Went in there. You know, when we had those gusty winds a few weeks ago, it blew the roof right off the top of that thing. They had to put a whole new canopy on there. Yeah. But it's like I didn't have enough to do already, and I had to take time to plant those petunias and flowers and geraniums yesterday. I said, Mom, you better appreciate this. Mm-hmm. I'm taking pictures. So my cistern's full, though, of water already out there, that my stock tank that I collect. And, of course, Sophie, she found it right away, and of course has to jump in it right before it's time to eat dinner, of course, dripping wet. And I can't jump in there anymore, so I don't have to worry about him. I got to lift him up on the bed now. He can't make it. He can't jump on the bed anymore. But I got the flowers in yesterday. And did you spread your grass seed yesterday?
I did.
Good.
I mowed, and God, it was thick too. I had one spot I didn't get mowed on Sunday, but I needed to get it mowed because I know how much rain we're going to get.
Article in the paper today about firearm seizures are way up. Budget cuts hurt enforcement efforts. What budget cuts? What budget has been cut?
Not here.
Who did? Christina McIntosh. Cases of possession of firearms while drug trafficking and prohibited felons in possession have doubled in Montana over the past 10 years. That's because they're violent criminals. Mm-hmm. Criminals get guns. There were 103 cases last year of possession of firearms by prohibited felons. Anybody previously incarcerated for over a year for a felony. Well, when Hunter Biden can get away with it, why wouldn't everybody else think they can? Mm-hmm. Hunter Biden was a convicted druggie, and he bought a gun. You know what? I consider for me, that's low. 103 for the whole year in the whole state. We had the article yesterday about drugs, as many drugs and crooks as there are in the streets, and there was only 103. Far too many people now have guns that shouldn't have, according to U.S. Attorney's Office. Yeah, that's true. And far few too many people have guns that should.
Hey, there's a lot of people out there that have driver's licenses that shouldn't.
That's right. 62 cases last year of a felon in possession of a firearm. So what?
You're going to legalize a drug. What do you think comes with that?
And Mark, but they're felons.
Right.
That's what felons do.
Right.
See, there's no cases in the paper of innocent, law-abiding citizens that got in trouble for having a gun.
Right.
These are felons. They're felons. That's what they do. That's what they do. And blame everything in the world except one thing, incarceration space. Let's not blame that. These are repeats. These are guys that have been in trouble. These are guys, if they're felons...
These are not guys that went out the first time and said, you know what I'm going to do today?
Right. Mark, if they're felons, that means they've already been convicted of a felony. Convicted means what? Gone to court. Been in possession of a firearm, felony, whatever. Gone before the judge, been found guilty, and guess what? They're out. So is the problem there's too many felons with guns, or is the problem we're not putting felons behind bars?
There you go.
No, the problem is guns. No, that's not the problem. Billings, a pro-gun community. Oh, good. Well, you're a pro-liberal hack, is what you are, has had to grapple with violence and a growing abundance of firearms that can cause. Well, hello, if we have growing violence, what do you think people, law-abiding, good citizens, Samaritans in the area are going to do? They're going to pack.
We have a surplus of firearms on my street, and we don't have any crime.
Me too. They're going to pack.
Under the B7.
Ready for some fun? Join the Blue Cat Bar and Grill and the Roadside Event Center for Bingo on Friday, May 31st.
Bingo!
Huge cash jackpots and great prizes. Come back Monday, June 3rd, as Dave Austin takes you on a journey through the 2000s with throwback music trivia. The Blue Cat is now serving up mouth-watering prime rib every Saturday alongside their legendary steaks. And speaking of legends, try their loaded Bloody Marys. There's always something going on at the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, just 9 minutes east of the Metro exit.
Right. More people were packing now because there's more felons, more drug activity, and we're letting them out on the street because we have nowhere to put them. Most of the focus now has been on gun violence perpetrated by teenage boys. I wonder what the percentage of those teenage boys come from single-parent homes or went to daycare. Yeah, that's right. I'm back on that again. The uptick in firearm possession by drug traffickers. Used to be drug dealers weren't stupid enough to carry firearms because they knew if they were dealing with drugs and they had a firearm, it would lead to an even lengthier mandatory sentence.
That's right.
Unless you're Hunter Biden. Once again, he gets a pass. Biden's get a pass on everything. Biden's get a pass on stealing money from China. He gets a pass on taking a shower with his daughter. He gets a pass for 7 sexual assaults. He gets a pass for sniffing young girls' hair. He gets a pass for having top secret documents and he sold them, walked out of an office with them in his coat for a book deal. He gets a pass. Biden's get a pass on all this. If you have a firearm while you do drugs or drug trafficking, you add 7 years. In recent Billings case against a member of a large-scale drug operating conspiracy operating out of the Crow Reservation, a lawyer argued that the firearm should not apply to his client, Wendell Left Hand, because the guns in question, they were hunting rifles.
Doesn't matter.
Nice try. Nice try. Population's up. That's another one. Towns are growing. That's another reason why. There's so many variables involved with that. There's more illegal aliens in the country now that are drug runners.
Southern and northern borders.
There's another one. Nope. It's just because you redneck hillbillies in Montana, you just carry guns all the time. You think this is the Wild West out here. That's her point. That's her point. So, and people pack to protect themselves now because all these thugs are on the street. We've let all these thugs into the country. Young males, 22 years old. Gun's a gun when you use a crime. Doesn't matter what caliber it is or what style.
Right.
A gun's a gun. One guy was pulled over, 2 pounds of meth, $9,000 in cash, and 4 firearms. One was an Uzi. He got 20 years.
Yeah, but it was a hunting Uzi.
Yeah, it was a hunting Uzi. The Billings District Violent Offender Task Force last year seized 33 handguns and 33 long guns. Okay, 60 guns. That's not a lot when you consider. Does it surprise you with as many people we have that are on drugs? I did an article on it yesterday. Steal a gun in Montana, it's still a misdemeanor unless the firearm is worth over $1,500. The FBI, the DEA, and the ATF all faced federal budget cuts last year, according to this guy, and it hurt them. Well, then why are you guys circling the oval that supports these liberal Democrats that started the war on police and wants to cut all their funding?
They don't connect the two, Paul.
So you cut the funding and the crime goes up. That's because you're a bunch of nutcases. So that's not a lot. So we have 40 cases last year. How many do you think they have in Chicago? Where the mayor said, crime's a way of life for a lot of our people here. What the hell? That's crazy. You started this war on the people of authority in the country, and now you're sitting there whining because possession of guns is up and violence is up. And, well, you get what you pay for. Man. Had a school bus accident yesterday on I-90 out there by Lockwood. Fortunately, nobody was seriously hurt. Oh, I see today. There is. Printed this up today. Yesterday, the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office discussed wrong way driving incident on I-90.
Saw that.
And happens quite often. And I came up with a solution many, many years ago for that. And it'll never be implemented, but they can put the one-way puncture strips on the ramps going on to the interstates, just like they use at all the rental car places. You know, if you try to steal a rental car and go out the wrong way, it punctures all the tires. You go with the flow and they fold down, you drive right over them, no problem. They could put those on every ramp and puncture all the tires. Somebody's going to get on there the wrong way. So shouldn't surprise you. With as many people now that we have that are inebriated high every day in America. We had the article yesterday. In fact, I wrote about it. I wrote about it yesterday. I didn't see if there were any comments on it yesterday or not. But folks, if you didn't hear yesterday about the amount of people that are getting high every day and the amount of people that are drinking every day, the amount of people now that are getting high every day has surpassed drinking and we're not talking once or twice a week.
Oh, no.
This was every day they get high, every day. And it surpassed. And that, I bet you that number is low.
Oh, of course it is. They don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of those people aren't answering those surveys.
No, it's low. And they don't include kids. They don't include people under the age of 21. These were only adults in the survey. And anyway, you add those together and it's alarming. And I talked about, folks, there's roughly 180 million people in America that are working. Okay? 35 to 40 million of them, 35 to 40 million of them are high. They either have THC or alcohol in their system every day. Every day. This doesn't include the part-timers. These are the daily users every day. Just think of that. 40 million people out there every day who are working. God knows what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Every day, getting high and drink every day. That's why companies are drug testing. The liability is unbelievable. One of the comments under my article, people are self-medicating. We have no coping skills anymore. We become soft, spoiled. We have the expectation that we should have everything we want. Add isolation and a lack of social skills to this, and the end result, very sad, very destructive. And it is. They're running all kinds now of public service announcements. I don't know if you've heard them or not, on television, on radio, that if you feel different, you drive different. And it's a great ad. No matter what it is, you feel different, you're going to drive different. And you feel different, you're going to work different. You're going to do everything different. Every single day, 7 days a week, 40 million people are indulging. And those are just the ones that they know and answered the survey. Mm-hmm. Scary.
Under the B, 7.
Ready for some fun? Join the Blue Cat Bar and Grill and the Roadside Event Center for Bingo on Friday, May 31st.
Bingo!
Huge cash jackpots and great prizes. Come back Monday, June 3rd, as Dave Austin takes you on a journey through the 2000s with throwback music trivia. The Blue Cat is now serving up mouth-watering prime rib every Saturday alongside their legendary steaks. And speaking of legends, try their loaded Bloody Marys. There's always something going on at the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, just 9 minutes east of the Metro exit.
Scary out there, folks. No doubt about it. And you have things like that. I didn't see the results of the press conference yesterday, so I don't want to jump to any conclusions about why they went the wrong way on the interstate and got on there. Maybe could be a lot of things. Could be Alzheimer's, stuff like that, dementia problems. Don't know yet, but could have been drugs, could have been high, could have been drunk. Who knows? But that is an alarming figure. And you want to know why then gun possession is up? And those numbers yesterday, that was just alcohol and pot. Mm-hmm. That wasn't anything else. That wasn't prescription drugs or meth or cocaine or whatever in the hell else they're doing. That was just those two. Every day, using it every single day. Plus, think of the money. Think of the money that they're spending if that is an everyday thing. And then what do? Then we pick up the slack for them. Mm-hmm. They're spending that money on what they need and want, and then we're picking up the slack and helping them pay for the other things that they have to survive. Paying off their student loans. $35,000 per average check for that deal yesterday that the Supreme Court said he can't do. And you folks just got stuck with it. They transferred that debt from them to you. 35 grand a student. Isn't that something? And you wonder why you better have your ducks in a row? That's why. Today will be a get out of town day. It's Thursday. Friday's usually the DO day, but since today's going to be a DO day, because
and roads are bad. We got to get going.
yeah, given Friday is a given on a 3-day weekend, and everybody just slacks anyway. News out of AAA today. Did you get called again this year?
I've never been called, actually.
Highways and airports will be jammed. Americans head out. AAA they predict this will be the busiest start of a summer weekend in nearly 20 years. 3 million people will pass through airport checkpoints tomorrow. And I don't know why, because metal detectors don't work. U.S. Airlines expect to carry a record number of passengers this summer. This at a time when Americans are telling pollsters they're worried about the economy and the direction of the country. 43.8 million people will travel at least 50 miles from home between Thursday and Monday. Well, anybody that travels in Montana, we have 1 million people here. Anybody that travels will travel 50 miles.
You do that every day.
Yeah. 50 miles. Yippee skippy. Everybody in Montana. You live in the Heights and you're going to go to Shields. By the time you navigate out there, go to the couple different places, you got 50 miles in.
You do.
3 million might pass through checkpoints at airports. Now, they said this summer, 271 million people are going to fly between June 1st and August 31st. That'll break the record that we set last summer. That's about 20 million more people flying than we did last summer. So June, July, and August, 3 months, 90 days, 271 million travelers. That's 3 million a day. Some experts said it's because some airfares got cheaper. Airfares were down 6%. Hotel rates have dropped 0.4%. Prices for renting a car, they're down 10%. Price of gas, though, is 6 cents higher than it was a year ago. The gas thing though, folks, that's always been a thing. And the gas thing doesn't affect anybody. If you travel 100 miles and you get 20 miles a gallon, you need 5 gallons of gas. 6 cents times 5 gallons. That's 30 cents.
Right.
Well, it's going to cost me 30 cents more this year to go somewhere for Memorial Day, so I'm staying home. That never comes into play.
No.
Never comes into play. In the past years, holiday travelers, more were expected to travel by car, 38 million of them. Motorists hoping to avoid the worst traffic. If you're leaving a metropolitan area, Thursday and Friday, stay off the roads between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. and also Sunday and Monday. Those are the metropolitan areas. Those are big city areas. That's not out here. Thursday and Friday. See, Memorial Day weekend is a 3-day weekend and the highest traffic Thursday and Friday. Now, DO days for people. You taking time off? No, that's a personal day.
I'm owed that day.
Yeah, that's just personal time. TSA predicts they're going to screen more than 18 million people and airline crew members during the 7-day stretch that starts Thursday. Friday will be the busiest. The record for the amount of people that the TSA has screened in one day is 2.91 million, and they set that on the Sunday after Thanksgiving of last year. And just think, folks, they can get all those people through all those detectors without any problem. This takes a while, that's all, and it's worked every time. Airlines said they also have staffed up since they were caught short when they started rebounding from the pandemic. But that's because they forced the retirement of so many with their jab requirements.
That's right. Don't get the shot, you can't work here.
We get to determine how you take care of your body, and we get to determine all of your medical decisions, and everybody gave them the finger. And they said, fine, we'll retire. This is a bad weekend to travel if there's flight cancellations, because as busy as it is, if there's flight cancellation, you're in deep doo-doo.
Hope you enjoy that airport you're going to be sleeping in.
That's right, Wilson, because they are, all the flights are full anyway. American Airlines is offering the most ambitious flight schedule of the summer, 690,000 flights between May 17th and September 3rd. United forecast its biggest Memorial Day weekend, 10% more passengers than last year. Delta's carrying 5% more than last year. Top destinations are familiar ones: Orlando, Las Vegas, London, Paris, Rome. How many people are going to London, Paris, and Rome from Montana over Memorial Day weekend? How many do you think there are, Mark?
2 max.
2, maybe. 3, possibly, if they have a kid. But people are going to be hitting the road again and traveling this weekend. And it's the first one, too, coming out of the summer. People get the itch. They want to do something. And I get it, but it's going to be busy. That's why, folks, when we travel on the Flakes trip, we are always the first flight out in the morning because the plane's already here.
Right.
The plane's here. Lands the previous night. It's there. It's sitting at the airport. If you want to travel, you want to take the first one in the morning or the last one at night if it's a destination to get there because it's just better. But because after those first ones in the morning, everything else in America is a connecting flight. Everything else. So we like leaving. Mark and I love the stories too on the Flakes trip. Oh God, we had to get up at 3:30. Don't we, Wilson? We hear this. We did, and this is the reaction. Mark, we both laugh. I know.
Oh my God! One day in your life you had to get up this time of day.
God,
how terrible for you!
How come the coffee shop's not open yet? Oh my God! I can't believe people do this. We hear it every year, but it's the best time to fly. First one. You got to get the first one, and you're good.
Speaking of first one, mine's empty. Could I get a second one?
There you go.
First news coming up, 6:14.
The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Events Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.